Welcome to Foresf Rising, the podcast for visionaries and mystics alike. Those who know we are all connected and aren't here for mediocrity, but know they can create anything they desire. A space devoted to helping you root back into your body, your rhythm, and the world around you to become the embodied version of yourself that is safe to receive, express, and blossom into who you always knew you were meant to be. I am your host, Shauna, a college graduate 9-to-5 employee turned creative entrepreneur, breaker of chains, and rhythmic teacher. I am here to guide those who are ready to get back into the flow of nature and flow of themselves. I am on this journey with you, and I am so excited to walk through it together. Hello, beautiful souls. I am so grateful to have you back for another episode of Foresf Rising. I am so grateful to all of you that choose to tune in with me. And I know for sure, it does not pass me by that you could be spending your time listening to 1,000 other podcasts, doing 1,000 other things, and you choose to spend some of your week here with me, which I'm so grateful for. I think it's amazing, and I'm so excited for this movement that I am building around being in tune with your body and the earth, and being in a space where we can make powerful and meaningful decisions and do powerful and meaningful things. And today we are going to talk about money, which is such an uncomfortable, yucky, gritty topic for so many people. And it really is sad that it has become that way, because money is a resource that gives us a lot of power, and it gives us a lot of choice and a lot of options, and it allows us to have sovereignty and feel safe and live a life that is ours outside of the system or outside of survival mode. But the society that we have been conditioned in wants us to be afraid of money, because when we are in these systems around money, we are lacking control, we are lacking resources, and we are lacking power when we lack choice and safety around abundance and money. Now, you might be somebody that is, money is evil, money is the root of all evil, people with money are bad. And those are things that we have really been conditioned to believe, the way a lot of us have been brought up, our mindsets. And it is totally valid and fair that you might think that after going through what we have gone through. So today we are going to talk about how lacking resources, lacking money, lacking financial literacy keeps us small, keeps us controllable, keeps us disconnected from ourselves and the natural world around us. We do not have to live in scarcity. We do not have to live financially stressed all the time. And this is a new thing for me too. I remember about, within the last year, I finally realized that I did not have to live within scarcity of money. I didn't have to spend all of my time being afraid of what I had in the bank. I used to be so vigilant. They say with money, you can be a few different types of people. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but one of them is money vigilant. And this is when you just let money stress you out. I'm not kidding. I used to check my bank account dozens of times a day. I would calculate my budget probably 100 times in a week. And that was causing so much stress and damage, and it was exhausting. And you don't have to live that way. And some people are money avoidant, meaning that they don't look at their money. They're kept in the dark. And that leads to a lot of irresponsible decision making. It causes you to miss bills. It causes you to pay a lot of late fees. And yeah, there's just a few different money stories that are not serving you, are not serving us as a society. So many of us were brought up around these ideas about money, where we maybe were brought up in a environment with lots of financial stress, shame around money, and a scarcity mindset, because maybe we did experience poverty. Maybe we were living paycheck to paycheck, or we viewed our parents living paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of that stress got brought on to us. And when we live that way, a lot of people are taught that money is bad because the lack of money causes people to suffer. And it's not exactly the lack of money that causes that, but the lack of options, the lack of resources, the lack of freedom, and the lack of sovereignty is what causes people to suffer. And having abundance money brings us all of those things. And being brought up in a way where we have this scarcity mindset, and a scarcity mindset is when you constantly are thinking there's not enough. There's not enough for you, not enough for others. You're always worried that there's not going to be enough. And what this really cultivates in people is a system where money equals danger. Money equals stress. And in our body, that is so damaging because it does not teach nervous system safety at all. And it keeps us in this space where we are constantly running in circles in our mind, in our body. We are getting ill over money. Relationships suffer because of money. And this is what a scarcity mindset creates. It creates people that are unable to take risks, people that are unable to create change, people that are unable to live free. It creates people that are controllable to our society. And this is not our fault at all. This is not your fault. This is not our fault. But now that you know the information, when you start gaining the knowledge around financial literacy, it is your responsibility to learn more. But the way we have been brought up, the society we live in, is not your fault, because financial illiteracy is systematic. It is rooted in our school system, in our capitalist society, in our work environments. It is rooted in all of those things. We are not taught financial literacy in school at all. We're not taught how to do taxes. We're not taught how to invest. We're not taught the difference between an asset and a liability. We are taught how to do a job, how to follow directions, how to be a quote unquote functioning and good member of society so that we can go out into the world and work these jobs and put money in other people's pockets. That's what the system is set up to teach us to do. It is not set up to teach us to break out of these systems, because we live in a world where everything is consumerism. And that's the world we live in. And it keeps us spending and not investing. It keeps us buying liabilities and not owning. It does not encourage ownership, because capitalism rewards ownership, but it does not reward consumerism. And we are just trained to consume. We're trained to buy the latest thing. We are constantly bombarded with what we need. And this keeps us spending. This does not keep us investing. This doesn't keep us growing. This doesn't create people that are able to build at all. And one really interesting thing that has come out of this is, I just want to touch on, is the term girl math. And honestly, you guys, fuck girl math. I cannot stand the term. I cannot stand the memes around it. I think it's so damaging. It keeps women disempowered around money. It is, honestly, what it is it is nervous system coping disguised as a fucking joke. And our abundance, our power, our money is not a fucking meme, you guys. This is a way that has been fed to us, been normalized in so many of our mindsets as a way for us to just cope with the lack of knowledge around money and spending and abundance, because it feels safer to go, haha, girl math. I don't know what my credit score is. I don't know how much I have in the bank. Haha, girl math. I can buy myself all these little treats and continue consuming in this society. It is seriously learned helplessness as a joke, right? Like it normalizes the idea that women or us are bad at money, or we're irresponsible, or we are bad at math. It normalizes all of that, and that is just so untrue. And it really is the avoidance. It's an avoidance coping mechanism to keep our nervous system safe. Because in our bodies, in our nervous systems, we know that if we get uncomfortable a little bit and face our money, it's going to be stressful. So we just don't. And we call it girl math. And that is accepted. But avoidance keeps you in this rat race. It keeps you stuck in a circle of scarcity, in a circle of never knowing where your money's going, in a circle of being unable to create the life that you really want, being unable to make sovereign choices. And really, it keeps you ignorant. It keeps you disconnected from source, from each other, because what money is an exchange. Money is energy. Every time we send it out, it's energy. Every time we get it back, it's energy. That's why you need to be on top of this stuff, so that you are connected with a huge part of source. Money is spiritual, and these harmful ideas keep us disconnected from God and source. And it is just it's just really, really upsetting to me that that stuff is normalized, and things like, we don't know about good credit versus bad credit. Things like bad credit, where we spend money on stuff that is not going to pay us, or spending money on liabilities. Bad debt is so normalized in our society. Nobody blinks an eye when you go and buy a new car and go, I don't know, $50,000 to $100,000 in debt over something that is going to lose its value as soon as you turn the key and drive it off the lot. Nobody questions that. But then at the same time, going into debt for, say, a business or an asset or something that is going to pay you is frowned upon by the average person, because they just really don't understand the difference between assets and liabilities. And so an asset is something that pays you. An asset is something that is going to continue to give you money back. You invest into it, and it is something like a business. It is something like a rental property, real estate, a high-ticket sales business like I have, things like that. Whereas liabilities are things that don't pay you. They are your car, your mortgage, little things that you're spending your money on. And we are not taught we're not taught the difference about that. And that's why we stay stuck in this cycle of consumerism, of keeping up with the Joneses, of wanting the next best thing. And this just constantly keeps us in a state of fight or flight and survival. 100%. because we just are not able to regulate or anything like that. And that is why we need to be educated about these things, because we as people, as visionaries, as people that know how important it is to be able to make sovereign decisions, need to be resourced. And being resourced means that you have a savings, you have investments, you have assets, you have skills that you can use to contribute and make money. And most of all, you have safety. Because when we are safe around money, when our nervous system feels safe around money, we can make empowered decisions about our life, our money, and help others do the same. And we can be there for the impactful things that we want to be there for. We can be there for our kids. We can be there for things we care about. We can be there to speak up because we're not constantly wearing ourselves out over money. And when the nervous system feels unsafe around money, like when we are overworked, when we are constantly survival, when we are going to work and tiring ourselves out, when we are constantly trying to make ends meet, when we are constantly making bad decisions about money, losing money to liabilities, we cannot be successful in the paths that we want to be successful at. When we're overworked, we cannot research, we cannot enhance our financial literacy, we cannot build new things, we can't organize and help our community, we can't help other people, and we can't live safe and happy in our bodies. Like, really just think how much stress and money around stress affects our lives and our bodies. Like, so many relationships, marriages, friendships, stuff like that end over money. And think of what happens to your nervous system or your body when your nervous system does not feel safe. You probably sleep like shit, meaning that you don't have the energy, you don't have a clear head to really create the impact you want to create. It totally ruins our creativity. It does not allow us to think for ourselves, to think freely. When we are constantly putting all our resources toward our survival, when the body does not feel safe, all of our energy literally just goes to staying alive. And money is no different in this at all. And really, guys, we are not powerless. We are under-resourced. Like, we can't help fight this broken system by remaining broke inside this system. And the way to get out of this system is to really expand your knowledge, expand your mindset, connect with people who know about these things, and become regulated so that you can be resourced. When you're regulated, you can be resourced. And one thing I have been doing since the beginning of this year is having a money date with one of my friends. And we're actually opening this up to other people, but every Sunday we get together, we do a tarot spread, we definitely connect to source and the spiritual aspect. We see what money is trying to teach us this week, and then we spend an hour and a half just sitting with our money, sitting with our financial situation, and getting on top of it. Like, I do things like go over my weekly expenses, go over the weekly money I've made, see where my money's going, see where my money energy is leaking. We spend time going over our subscriptions. Where are you spending a subscription that you're not even fucking using? Where are you leaking that money energy? Where could you put it instead? And it has just felt so good. And recently it's tax season, so I've been working on my taxes, and I already know that I am so on top of it this year, because last year I was not so on top of it. So it has taken me a lot of time and resources that I could be putting somewhere else to go through all of my expenses from the past year. And so I'm so excited to be really set and regulated in that for next year. And we do have this open to anybody that wants to join with us. It is a super duper fun and helpful container. Highly recommend it. There is information about it in the show notes if you would like to join to that. But really, such a game changer thing to do. And really what we need to do is we need to expand our knowledge. And we know that 1% of people own most of the assets in the world, right? You've probably heard the term, the top 1%. They're the wealthiest people. And what really sets the bottom 99% away from the top 1% is ownership. The top 1% owns assets, they own businesses, they own things that have their money work for them. And if you're not owning something, you are funding somebody who does own things. If you don't have money, if you don't have resources, you are constantly relying on somebody who does. And this is just another piece where money equals sovereignty. If you are not well resourced, you cannot leave toxic jobs, you cannot leave toxic relationships, you cannot decide what food you want to eat, where you want to live, where you want to raise your kids, any of that. You are fully relying on somebody else. And well-resourced people, you might be thinking like, oh, money is bad, rich people are bad, and that is true. There is so many, it's even, coming out right now how shitty all the elite people are with the files that have came out and everything that we are learning about our society. So I get it. I get it why you might think that money is evil or people that have money are evil. And there are a lot of people who really hoard resources that could help a lot of people. But if you're listening to this, I know you're a good person and I know that you want to do good in the world. And if you want to do good in the world, you need to be well-resourced, because well-resourced people can build, they can help communities, they can donate, they can create ethical businesses that support other people, they can pay a living wage, they can outsource, they can pay somebody to clean their house, they can pay an assistant, they can directly support another person. How special is that? That's what people who have resources can do. They can create these spaces that we need in this world. And stressed people cannot. People stuck in survival mode, people with fried nervous systems, not connected with their body, can't do all these things. So that's why we need these type of people, good people, funded, people that want to make change, people that know they have answers, they have ideas and solutions, but they just don't have the resources. We need to fund those people. Those people need to be funded. Ethical, embodied, and awake people need resources to really make true change in the world. And that's why I build businesses that create safety and recurring wealth and share it with others. It is why I am part of a global economy business model that allows myself and whoever wants to just plug in and start creating income and abundance with a system that is already proven for you. And having this power, having abundance, having comfort equals being able to be free. Freedom. It allows us to expand in an embodied way. It allows us to live cyclically. It allows me the freedom to wake up with the sunrise and watch the sun set and choose foods that make my body feel good and help causes that I love. It gives me the free time to do that. It gives the resources to do that. And I'm just so excited to share this message because it's so important for us to really get educated about money. So some things that you can do is, one, obviously you can join my money container or even start your own. Like if you want to start your own, set a timer, pick a time every week where you sit down and just sit with your finances. Or if you don't know where to start, we are offering that. Information's in the show notes. You can get educated about financial literacy. Like you can read books. There's tons of books. There's, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, which is such an incredible book. I think everybody should read that. There's You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. We All Should Be Millionaires by Rachel Rogers. 3 books that have completely changed my life. And you can just really get creative and educated on how you can build assets and put your money where it can be used in a good way. And I really, really encourage you to just take one step this week toward expanding your financial literacy, toward saying, fuck girl math, stop using that term. All of that, really see where you are stuck in this loop of scarcity where you don't have to be, so that you can be a sovereign and embodied person that feels safe and can make powerful decisions to change your life, to change other lives, and really change the world. And if you are interested in learning about the global economy business model that I am a part of, or the money container, if you are interested in following me on social media or anything like that, all that information is in the show notes. And of course, if you could rate, comment, review the show, that helps a whole lot. And I hope you all have a beautiful day, a beautiful night, wherever you are tuning in from.